Hey everybody! Alright, so we made our big little announcement yesterday, and I thought it would be cool for you guys to figure out, well, not figure out, for you guys to know, like, how did we get to this spot, how did we meet, just to get to know us in our, like, relationship story a little bit better. So, we met each other actually at work, and I was already pregnant with Malachi at that time. I was probably like 6 months pregnant, so I definitely had a belly. And I was going to a job interview, and I happened to babysit the person who was going to do my job interview's kids. And he was like, no, I don't want you to do this position. I want you to be in something that's more stable. So he put me in another department, and it was Kiko's department.
It was. And then he comes to me and he's like, hey, you're going to hate me, because he was my boss. He was the general manager of marketing, and I was just like a little peon supervisor of marketing. And he's like, you're going to hate me. But I hired someone and I put her in your department. And I was somewhat upset, but I was like, oh, whatever. And then the part that he left out was that she was pregnant. So I go into the training class that she's in to go introduce myself and give her paperwork. I come around the corner.
Wait, I have to tell you guys, when he came around the corner, like, I looked over and I was like, oh my god, that guy is so hot, because he had long, like, dreads, and they were really nice, and he was dressed, like, cute, and, like, I seriously, to this day, still remember him, like, poking his head around the corner and me thinking, like, oh, he's so hot.
Well, I walk over to her. I'm like, who's Erica? And they point her out, and I walk over to her.
Me.
And then I see she has a belly, and I'm like, oh, you're pregnant? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, how far along are you? And she's like, 6 months. And I'm like doing the math in my head. And I'm like, 6 months. That kind of falls around a time that I really need her. So I got really mad. Obviously not toward her. I was just like, welcome to the team and blah, blah, blah. And then I went back to him and I was like, nope, no way, not at all. And he begged me to keep, and he was also still is a really good friend of mine. And he begged me to keep her, and he was like, please do this for me. This is the last time, I swear to you. And I was like, all right, fine. So she started working in my department.
Yeah, and then we actually became friends, like, really quickly. And he, I don't know, he was, like, really out there, like, very funny, and didn't care what anybody thought about him or what he had to say. And I wasn't used to that in guys. Like, I'm used to, like, oh, you want to be, like, cool and, that type of macho thing. So I was, like, shocked by him, and we got to be friends, and we would hang out, we'd go do things, but, like, he was like, no, I don't want this to turn into anything serious. And I was like, okay, we can just be friends. And we were together, like, every single day, and he made my schedule, so he would schedule me to work all of his shifts somehow, and we hung out outside of work all the time. And finally it got to a point where he was like, hey, let me take you out. And I was like, no, I'm, like, very pregnant. That is not cute. Like, no, we cannot go out until after I have my baby.
Wait, hold on. Let me go back to you, because way back, there was no part of me that would ever want to date someone who was pregnant. Like, ever. Like, I was like, there's no way. As most guys are probably like, there's no way I would date someone who's pregnant. And I was the same way. I was like, there's no way. That's a huge responsibility. I'm not doing it. And I think there was one day in particular where she's, like, sitting at her desk and she was writing. And at the job that we were in, we took calls, and in between the calls, we could sit there and do whatever we wanted to do. So there were a lot of students in my team and my department that would do their homework or whatever. And I knew she was in school, but she wasn't full time. So she was sitting there writing, and I was like, "What are you writing?" She's like, "No, I'm just created a journal for my son." And I was like, "Oh, really?" She's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Can I read it?" She's like, "Sure." So after she was done, she handed it to me, and despite being a teenage mom, it was just all super positive. Like, everything was, like, so positive. It was you're the best thing that's ever happened to me, and I'm going to make this work, and no matter what happens, like, we're in this together till the end. I got your back. It was just all so inspiring to see someone be like, this isn't going to keep me down, and people are trying, in there it would be like, some people are trying to keep me down, but I promise you I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that this works. And I think that was my moment of like, there's more to this person. I was just like, wow, she's pretty special, I think. And then that's when the relationship started, where I was like, I need to get to know this person who was so positive. And then out of that, I started to learn that a lot of her positivity came from her faith and belief in Christ. And I was super atheist, like insanely atheist.
Hardcore.
Like, just debated her on everything. But I respected the fact that she would stand up for that, and she was always, like, that was what kept her going, what kept her getting up in the morning, what kept her moving, kept her so positive for her future son. And it was just like, all of that was like, there's something to this person that I need to get to know, I guess, so to speak.
Yes, so he asked to take me out, and I was like, no, I can't do that. Like, I'm pregnant. That would not be cute. And so we just would hang out occasionally, do fun things, but it was never really like a date or any of that. And then I had Malachi, and he came to the hospital. I think Malachi was like a day old or something, but I, of course, messaged because he was my boss. I was like, hey, I'm going to the hospital, and so he came the next day, and we have pictures of him holding Malachi, and I'll post those up on my Facebook so you guys can see. And then my birthday happened to be 2 months after I had Malachi. I had Malachi in February, and then my birthday's in April. So when my birthday came around, he was like, hey, you had the baby, it's your birthday, let's go to dinner. And I was like, okay, and we went to dinner. And then I was so nervous, like super nervous. I was like, oh my god, my stomach was cramping. And we actually ended up going to dinner, and that's where I had tasted calamari for the first time, because he was like, oh, let's get calamari, and I didn't want to be like, oh, I'm not getting calamari, so I was like, okay. And then we went to the piercing place and got like piercings. He did his ear like a baby, and I did my tongue, but he was like not thrilled about that, I guess.
I did my ear like a grown baby, I just want to add, and tongue piercings are disgusting to me, so I was like, that's just gross. Like, you're putting something in your mouth that now needs to be cleaned. That's probably not going to get cleaned. So I was just like, this disgusting. So I never had a piercing, so I also wanted to, like she said, I was the guy that's like, I don't follow any trends. Like, I'm not the guy that's like, I need to sag my pants. I did that when I was 16 years old, or it just wasn't me. It was whatever I like at that time is what I'm going to do. So I never had my ears pierced, because I thought, like, that's the most ridiculous thing ever. And then she's like, I'm going to go get a tattoo. And I was like, that's dumb. Don't you have to think a tattoo through? And she's like, no, I just get them. And I'm like, no, I don't just randomly get tattoos. I'll pierce my ear. And she was like, okay, I'll pierce my tongue. And I was like, ew, that's gross. So,
but I did it anyway, and he didn't care. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, then we just kind of were together since then. September 1st is like our official, like, time where he was like, I want you to be my girlfriend. Like, we never really labeled things, and so now it'll be almost 11 years that we've been together. And yeah, that's kind of how it all started. So I don't know, is there anything else?
No, I think we'll save the how I proposed, or the California trips and all of that, for another video.
Yeah, our relationship has definitely had its like super highs and super lows, and I don't know, I think because we got to a point where God was the center of our relationship, and with each other and for ourselves, like independently of each other, that we are where we are now. So I'm going to talk about girly stuff now, so if you don't want to stay, you don't have to. But Okay, so like I was saying in the first video, I haven't been to the doctor for my girly stuff in almost 11 years since I had Malachi. And now that we're trying to get pregnant, of course I need to know like how to track my menstrual cycle, I guess, or track my ovulation. That's it. So I looked up online, and this is the first time in my whole life that I have ever tracked that kind of thing, and I got so excited, even though it's kind of difficult. Like, okay, I went to WebMD. I'm looking it up on my phone. So there's a number of ways that you can track that, but the easiest way for me just seemed to be to track my ovulation, whatever. So there's like math involved. I'm horrible at math, but it says to figure it out, start charting your menstrual cycle and record how long it lasts. Then subtract 18 days from the length of your shortest cycle. This is the first day you're likely to be fertile. So I'm like, oh, like, can somebody just tell me like, hey, day 6 to day 12 would be the best time for you to try. So finally I found something that did that, and so I was happy to finally use my planner. I mean, not finally, but I get to use it for something aside from business, and this is my Erin Condren planner. I'm in love with it. So I'll show you guys like what I did. I colored in the day that my menstrual cycle began, and then I put little hearts on the days where we're supposed to really try to conceive. So, like, there's hearts all on this week. And that's how I'm keeping track of it. This is the first month, so I don't know how accurate it will be. But as I continue to do it, it'll get more and more accurate. And I don't know if you guys can see me because of the sunlight. I think maybe I might go inside. But so that's what I'm starting to do, and I am actually really looking forward to all of this. It was rather easy to find out how to do that. So we're starting there, and then if we need to get more in depth with everything, then I will. But right now, that's pretty much what we're doing, and I don't know, that's it. If you guys have questions for us or want to know anything about where I got my planner, anything like that, just drop us a comment and we will talk to you guys soon. Bye.